This is Homegrown, showcasing Alberta producers, artisans, and farming communities. Brought to you by Connect First Credit Union.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Koshka with Agriculture for Life. Today we're here at Foothills Creamery learning a little bit about how they make their ice cream and their butter, and I'm here with Scott Wagner. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
So we'll get into a little bit about the creamery and everything you do here, but first to start, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved here?
Yeah, I mean, I think to start at the beginning, like many people in Alberta, I grew up eating Foothills Creamery ice cream, and then I had the opportunity to join the marketing group in 2020, and I've been here for the last few years as the director of marketing.
So before we get into how everything's made, could you tell us a little bit about the history of the creamery and how it started?
Yeah, so Foothills Creamery started back in 1969. Even before that, back in the 1930s, there was about 93 creameries in Alberta, and those were slowly starting to close down and get consolidated. And so the Swift plant, which was located behind the Calgary Tower in 1969, was going to be closing down, and Don Bayrak was churning butter at that factory, and they decided they wanted to keep making butter and keep that plant alive. And so him and his business partners founded Foothills Creamery by taking over that plant in 1969, and we've been making butter the same way, the old-fashioned way, ever since.
Nice. And so you clearly have a bit of a connection to agriculture here. Could you tell us about the history with that and where you started sourcing your dairy from and how that's evolved?
Yeah, so back when we started it in 1969, we were sending drivers to each individual dairy farm in Western Canada and filling up tiny little steel cans with cream. And they'd go around and they'd visit all of those dairy farms and then come back to the factory and pour all of the cream in and start making butter. And today, that process has evolved a little bit. We're still sourcing all of our cream from Western Canadian dairy farms, but all of our cream comes from processors who separate the milk into cream, and then we ship it in larger trucks to our facility.
So quite a different process back then than it is now, and it sounds like quite a bit more individual work back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a smaller scale than what we're seeing now.
And then you started by making butter and evolved to making butter and ice cream. How did that happen? How did you go from butter to both the products?
Yeah, just slowly evolved within the company. So we started making butter, and we were just making butter by the pound and in big blocks. And then eventually that moved to starting making more butter products. A few years into the 1970s, we're making butter patties and butter in different formats. And then part of the butter making process is creating buttermilk, which is a byproduct of butter. And so we, in 1986, decided to use that buttermilk to start making ice cream. And the buttermilk helps give it a richer, smoother flavor. So some of that buttermilk that had previously been going to waste was being used in our ice cream.
And there was a term that you mentioned just now, and you were talking to me about this earlier, but butter patties. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, butter patty is just a thin, flat sheet of butter that has little marks on where you can break it, and then restaurants and other food service businesses can take those butter patties and break off a piece and put it on a pancake or something like that, and then that saves them from having to cut it from a big block.
So kind of that like picture perfect looking piece of butter on a pancake.
Yeah,
that
it's
you would see.
it's your Instagram butter cube.
Yeah. I saw online that you have 2 educational comics that teach people about how exactly the butter and the ice cream are made. Could you walk us through that process?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fun thing about our butter and ice cream process is that we've been doing it the same way for the last 50 years. And when you're making butter, you get your cream delivered, and then the first thing you need to do is pasteurize it to make sure that it's safe to use and all the bacteria has been removed. And so we pasteurize our cream when it arrives, and then it's stored, and from there it goes to our old-fashioned barrel churns, and we have 3 churns on our production floor where the cream gets sent to and it gets warmed up, and then it gets churned. So as it's churned, we're pulling out the buttermilk from the butter and increasing the butterfat content. All of our butter has over 80% butterfat. From there, the butter is taken out of the churns and pushed through an auger and turned into the 1 pound butter blocks that you see on grocery store shelves.
And then that also leads into the ice cream?
Exactly, yeah. So we take the buttermilk and it goes into part of our production facility where we make our base mix. And so we use that buttermilk and we add sugar and other ingredients to create an ice cream base. And then that base mix gets taken into a mixing tank where it's heated up and flavor is added. So if we're making chocolate ice cream, the chocolate gets added at that point. And then we take that flavored ice cream base mix and it goes through our freezer center where it's spun around through barrels and different inclusions. So cookie dough and chocolate chips and things like that get added, as well as different swirls and ribbons. So if we're making a cherry cheesecake ice cream, the cherry gets added into that, and then it gets filled into tubs and sent to a blast freezer where it's cooled and finally turned into ice cream. We have them in different sizes. So there's flavors that are made for your local mom and pop scoop shops across Western Canada. We have retail size flavors, which are in 1.4 liter, and we'll be coming out with 500 milliliters soon. We have soft serve mixes, which are used all over the place. Even at the Calgary Saddle Dome, we have soft serve mix there. We make sherbet, which is a combination of like a less dairy and kind of a sweeter flavor, close to sorbet. And then we have sorbet as well, and we do lactose free and no sugar added ice creams. So lots of different things like that.
When we were walking through your facility earlier, you have so many flavors.
Today we make over 80 flavors. Everybody has a different opinion on what their flavor is, but our most popular flavor at scoop shops is bubblegum, which has real bubblegum pieces in that. Like, kids love it. Those that are kids at heart also love it. We launched 2 new flavors at grocery stores this year that have been really popular, cotton candy and tiger, and for people to be able to get something that they usually only got at scoop shops and bring that experience home. Lots of people have been really excited. So those have been 2 really popular new flavors that have come out.
Yeah, I can relate to the kid at heart. Bubblegum was my favorite growing up, and whenever I went to a scoop shop, that was what I got with the bubblegum pieces in it.
Yeah, you get to save your bubblegum till the end.
Oh, of course, of course.
Your teeth would be all blue.
Yeah,
and,
your whole mouth is blue, yeah. Do you have a favorite flavor?
It's hard to pick a favorite flavor.
Yeah, of course, I can imagine.
So one of my favorite flavors is called Mocha Mountain. It has coffee and little Oreo pieces and a whole bunch of other stuff. But another one of my favorite new flavors that we just launched at grocery stores this year is called Sea Salt Caramel Fudge, which is amazing. So if you like sweet and salty, that's a good one. But the nice thing about having over 80 flavors of ice cream is that there's something for everyone.
Lots to choose from. And then you were mentioning how you've recently, within the last little bit, revamped your packaging. Yeah,
this year we updated our packaging to be a little more fun and jump off the shelf and connect back to the scoop shops. So it's got this whole feeling of joyful nostalgia that helps people bring that scoop shop experience home.
So what is your favorite part about working here?
Yeah, my favorite part about working here is definitely the people and the product that we make. So we have lots of people on the production floor that have became butter experts at barrel churning over decades, and to see them still working and being passionate about what they're making and the care and attention that goes into every product, whether it's butter or ice cream or soft serve, is really cool to see, and it's fun to be a part of that. And then being able to see the product on shelf, something that I grew up loving, and being able to have a part in sharing that with people across Western Canada is really special.
So if you're looking for some locally made ice cream, Foothills Creamery is the ice cream to go to?
I mean, we're always going to be partial to Foothills. Any ice cream is good ice cream, but we definitely think Foothills Creamery is the best.
Thank you so much for having us here today and showing us around. It was very enjoyable to be able to see the process of how everything's made. But thank you for showing us everything.
Oh, thanks so much.